Hello. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. And today's video, I'll be talking extensively about the university track application for the Global Career Scholarship, whether it is graduate program you're applying for or undergraduate program. This video covers everything. Actually, on TikTok, I have gotten this request multiple times to make a video about university tracks specifically, even though I had already made a video about both tracks earlier, and the video is on this YouTube channel. So this is the video. One thing I want you to note is that the Global Career Scholarship application is kind of changing processes. So everything I see here is from my experience and how it has always been up until 2025 when I applied. So there may be a few little changes here and there with the new system, which is not certain yet. However, this video will contain a lot of valid information and insights that will be useful to your application process, so make sure you watch to the end. Okay, and now without any further ado, let's get right into the video. First of all, before I deep dive into university track, I want to briefly describe the both tracks and the scholarship. So the Global Career Scholarship is a fully funded scholarship awarded by the Korean government via the National Institute of International Education (NIID) to international students to study their bachelor's degree, master's degree, PhD, or a research program in South Korea for free. It covers your tuition, you get a monthly stipend, it covers your flight, your visa, and all that good stuff. You can make your research about it. I have videos about it on my YouTube channel and also on my TikTok account. So if you're not following me on TikTok, make sure you do. And to apply for this scholarship, you can apply either via the embassy track or the university track. The embassy track, you apply to the Korean embassy in your country or the Korean Cultural Center in your country, like in the case for Nigerians. While the university track, you apply directly to the university, just as the name implies. And for embassy track, you can select 3 different universities. While for university track, you select just one university and send your document directly to that university. That's how it has always been. And I guess that aspect is still the same. Yeah, now I won't be going further with the embassy track because this video is mainly focused on university track. But yeah, if you have any embassy track questions, you can leave them in the comment section and maybe I'll make a video about that as well. Although I personally applied via university track, so I have more knowledge about university track than embassy track. But if it's a question I know, I will definitely provide answers to. Okay, so moving on. First thing I want you to note with the university track is that all universities make their individual announcements for document collection. What do I mean? The general application guideline comes out somewhere in the early February, the first week of February, right? Announcing accepting application and stuff. And then the embassies start receiving applications that early February. However, if you are applying through university track, you should put an ear down for when your university will make their own announcements, because they always do for university track. They tend to make their announcement in the middle of February or second week of February. Now, yes, so we have started receiving application for university track. It is not the general announcement. It's not when the application guidelines comes out and you send your documents when they have not announced. I don't know what will happen if it gets there in advance, but you should be very vigilant to know when your school has started taking applications for university track, and you should have your documents on ground. So once they announce that this is when we are taking documents, you send your documents immediately. And there is usually a time period. Some universities open their application period for like 2 weeks, some open up to a month, some even open more than a month, like a month and 1 week. In other words, some universities have their application deadline in early April, while majority have their application deadline in March, towards the ending of March or middle of March, that kind of situation. But there are some universities that extend their deadlines all the way to April, so you have to be very sure when your university's deadline is, so you do not miss it. Okay, so now once they have dropped the announcement, we are accepting documents. What do? You send your documents. It usually takes like 3 to 4 days or about a week for your document to arrive if you are sending from Nigeria. It also depends on the courier service you are using. I used DHL when I sent, and my document arrived in 4 days. So once you have sent your documents and it has arrived the school, most schools will let you know that, will send an email, or we have gotten your documents. Some will not until the application period is over. Then they send to everybody that the application period is over, we have gotten your documents, you hear from us so time, you get. But the normal thing is the school will email you immediately they get your document. we have gotten your document. And you can also send an email if you are tracking your document and it has arrived and you haven't heard from them. You can send an email, my document arrived so day at so time, but I've not heard from you guys. Have you guys gotten it? And they will most likely reply you that yes, they have gotten it. Or they will say they will send a general email later, you should hold on. There is no harm in asking questions, okay? If you have confirmed that your document has arrived, there is nothing else for you to do than to wait for the application deadline to pass, because nothing happens with university track until the application deadline has passed. So if, say, your university's application deadline is on the 23rd of March, everybody will keep submitting to the school. Whoever wants to send their document will send until the 21st of March, and then it ends. As it ends, when it ends, most universities will send an email. The application has closed. This is the timeline. You will hear from us so day for document screening results, for interview and stuff, how the interview will go and whatnot. Every school has different ways they organize their interviews, you understand? So after the application deadline has passed and you have gotten this email, I will advise that you start preparing for your interview, whether you have gotten your results or not. You should start, because sometimes you do not get enough time from when you get the interview invite to when is the actual interview. Like in my case, I got my interview invites barely 24 hours before my first interview. So imagine you had not done anything. And making it to the interview stage is a good sign, because some people drop before the interview stage. So imagine making it to the interview stage and then you don't make it because you did not prepare. Not because there were better people, because you did not prepare. I won't be able to forgive you. Well, not that it's any of my business, but I don't think you'll be able to forgive yourself. So I'll advise that you prepare for your interview in advance. I will actually make a video about preparing for interview soon, but yeah, I'll do that very soon. Now, before you get invited for the interview, there's something called document screening. That's what happens after the deadline, between the deadline and the dates you are given that you will hear back from them, usually about 2 weeks. Okay, so they scan your document. Did you follow all the instructions? They read your essays. Are your essays good? Did you do your authentication and legalization? Did you put staple pins when you are not supposed to put staple pins? Yeah, those kind of things. So they screen the document, and there are different ways, different universities. I think there's a general format that they use to grade their applications, but it's not exposed to the public, so we do not really know. We can just make assumptions and stuff. But when they are done grading everybody's document and you are part of the people selected from this document screening, they will reach out to you, right? Congratulations, you made it through the document screening. This is your interview schedule, right? And if you don't make it, most schools will still reach out to you. Unfortunately, we apologize, but there are some schools that don't reach out. You just use your sense and realize that, oh, maybe they didn't pick me, you understand? But most schools will reach out to like let you know what's up. And yeah, now if you have made it to the interview stage, there are different ways interview is conducted via university track. Okay, some universities will conduct their interview via Zoom, the international office, or your department. In my case, I was interviewed by my department, but majority the case is that it's your international office that interviews you. I was shocked that I was going to be interviewed by my department, but thank God I was ready enough to do the interview. Majority of the time, it is the international office that interviews you, and maybe 1 or 2 persons from your department if you are applying for master's degree, you understand? But sometimes as well, it can be full-blown departmental people, you get. So just be prepared for whatever it is. You can ask scholars that have gotten into your school how their previous interviews were to give you an idea. Now, as I was saying, some universities conduct their interview via Zoom. Some conduct their interview via phone calls. Some will send you a list of questions via email to answer and send back to them within a certain time frame. And some will ask you to record a video of yourself answering certain questions and send to them, just like I'm doing now. And when you are done, you send it to them. And based on that, they decide if to pick you or to drop you again at that interview stage, you understand? Now, after the interview is done, there's a set, because there are usually a lot of applicants, so the interview can last like a week or 2 weeks depending on the volume of applicants the school gets. Now, after the whole interview is done, it still takes like about another 2 weeks or a week, I think 2 weeks, for you to get an update from your school about the interview. Now, the update from your school about the interview is that either you have passed and be recommended to NID, or unfortunately, you do not make it through the interview stage. This stage, again, a lot of people get dropped here. I think a lot of people, this is where most people get dropped, because some people's documents are like really good, but presentation and communication is not that good, you understand? So I would like to assume that half of the applicants to every school is dropped, mainly because of, yeah, they didn't perform well in their interview, and secondly, all schools have quotas that they can take for university track, so they're also working with their quota, understand? For example, if a school can only take 20 candidates At most that they can recommend to NID is that 20 and maybe like 2 or 1 reserve. So if they have like 100 candidates, imagine the amount of people that will be dropped. That's the another reason why you have to prepare so well for your interview, so that they don't find any reason to drop you. Okay, if you have been dropped, I'm sorry, that's the end of your GKS journey for that year. But if you have made it past the interview, you'll be recommended to NID, which is the scholarship body, International Institute of IGO, National Institute of International Education. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Yeah, I think that's what it is. So when you get recommended, at this point, there is nothing you can do anymore. You have done your best. The school has selected you. It's now left for the organization to do what they want to do, because again, we don't know how they pick their candidates. I guess they screen the documents, because they are not going to see you anymore. There's no more interviews. So just based on your documents and probably the country's quota. The country's quota, certainly, because this is where you meet other candidates from your country. Via university track, all this while you have been battling with foreigners from different countries. Or maybe if there's someone from your country that applied to the same school, then yeah, you guys are on the battlefield together. But once you get to NID, it shifts from universities to countries, you understand? So if, say, the quota of Nigeria is 5, and then different schools recommend about 12 candidates, you see, it's going to be a really tough competition. So people that actually get dropped at the NID stage, it's not because they are not good enough, you understand? It's just that the competition on NID table is usually very tough, because schools select the best. So the best of the best are jamming their head together. It's tough. So if you make it through NID, you said don't try for this life. You said don't try. So yeah, if you get recommended to NID, you just have to wait until you get feedback from them. And there's usually a timeline in the guidelines, so you know when to expect the results from NID. I think the university also lets you know in the email that within so time frame you should get a message from NID if you passed or not, or NID will release the list, you understand? So after NID is done with everything they are doing, they will now release a list of people that they have selected as the final successful applicants for the Global Career Scholarship graduate program, undergraduate program via university track. In this state, like I said earlier, a lot of people still get dropped here. If you got dropped, I'm sorry once again. But yeah, if you made it past this final stage, that is it. You have won the scholarship. Congratulations. Yay! And after this stage, this is where, if you have any document lacking, for example, you applied with your statement of results, you now have to send your original, or NID contacts you needing something, a specific document to clear up something. This is the time frame that it happens after you have won the scholarship. Now, if you are unable to provide these documents, that they withdraw the scholarship and probably give to reserve candidates or something. Yeah, so once you have made it via NID stage, if you don't have any extra document to submit, that is it. Just start packing your bags, you get. But if you have any documents lacking, this is the time frame to send it. And also start applying for your visa, because by the time the very final list comes out and you start getting the necessary documents from the school and from NID to apply for your visa, the time frame will be rather short. So it's best for you to start making other preparations in advance. So once you get the documents that you need, sharp, you apply for your visa and do whatever you have to do before you travel. So yeah, I think that's all about university track. I don't think I'm forgetting anything. This is just basically the step-by-step of how it works. I believe that's what you guys were asking for. I hope so. If not, drop your question in the comment section. And yeah, that will be the end of this video. I will definitely see you guys in my next video. Bye, and good luck in your application.